Hello and welcome to Strip Down Sunday. My name is Reverend Ryan Pulley, and we are the Soul Evolution Collaborative. And so, this Strip Down Sunday experience, you know, us here at SEC, we always have to do things a little bit different. So, we are just looking for all these new innovative ways that we can actually get this teaching of science of mind, these principles, these truths, these things that are so important to us and we know that make a difference in our lives. We're just looking for so many new ways to get this out into the world. And so this is just one of those ways. So this is a quick pop in where we'll drop some words of wisdom and then some things that we've learned in our own lives and how we can actually apply these principles and truths to our everyday lives. Because that's the point, right? If we have it all here, but we're not actually living it, what's the point? So this is an opportunity for us to have some more conversation about how to actually use spiritual principles and how they can actually set us up for living absolutely amazing, awesome lives. So 2 quick things to get out of the way before we dive deep and get started today is everything you need to know about Soul Evolution Collaborative is on our website. It's like a one-stop shop. So go over to soulevolutioncollaborative.org and you'll find all the events that are going on. You'll find a lot of video content, kind of some down and dirty about what science of mind is and some really quick ways and neat ways to view that. So I'd be remiss if I don't mention the amazing upcoming event that we have going on starting tomorrow night. And it is the Old Shift Now What Summit. Now this is going on through the 8th through the 11th, every night from 7 to 9 Eastern time. And so it is packed full of amazing speakers that you can find on the website. Just to give you a little hint, you can go there and kind of see what's up for the week. But it's this continued conversation of how we can not only transform our personal lives, not only how we can evolve as a community, but then how we can actually collaborate as a global community of people to really not only be the shift that we want to see in the world, but actually to help each other shift and to step into new ways of being, new ways of seeing ourselves, new ways of seeing others, and new ways of seeing the world. So hop on over soulevolutioncollaborative.org. You can register for the event there and get all the information that you need. It's going to be an amazing event, and we're so looking forward to it. Number 2, communities like ours are just bolstered, sustained, and maintained by individuals like you. So if you'd like to hop on board with the ministry and mission of this community, and you would like to support us in a financial way, we are always greatly appreciated as people who journey along with us. So you can go over to soulevolutioncollaborative.org, click the donate button. It'll tell you what to do. All right, now let's dive in. So here at Soul Evolution Collaborative for Strip Down Sunday, we have been kind of exploring some of the global themes that Centers for Spiritual Living put out. And so our theme for today, and it's so amazing, it so coincides with this idea of the summit. So the theme today is the view from here. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think about the spiritual life and when I started on this spiritual journey a long time ago, I had this idea when I started that if there was a point that I could get to, if I could just be good enough or spiritual enough or have a higher consciousness enough or know enough or all those, if I could do enough, then I would experience this ultimate mountaintop spiritual experience. And then once I attained this, then I could just kind of hover over all the craziness, all the challenges, all the things that trip us up in life. Let me tell you, it didn't work that way. And I think a lot of times when we talk about the spiritual experience, the spiritual life, the spiritual journey, we think that there's a destination to get to. And once we get there, then we'll be able to just bypass all the challenges in life. And unfortunately, that's not the way it works. So I've been thinking about it this week. What if we looked at this, the view from here idea a little differently? What if the view, or what if the here that we're talking about, the view from here, what if that here was right where you were? Where if it was right where I am? Where is it right where you are? Where is it? What if it's right where we're standing? And often, I think in the context of spirituality, we're always looking for something uh, out there, something higher, something greater, something more, something more. And sometimes we can get so caught up in that we forget about where we're standing. And don't get me wrong, sometimes where we're standing can be crappy. Sometimes where we're standing can be challenging. Sometimes where we're standing can be unbearable. But when we can stop and we can focus and really take in the view from where we're standing, then we can step in one direction or another. So that we're not living 30 steps ahead, but we're living right here, right now, in this moment. So, how can we learn to appreciate our view no matter where we're standing? And I wish I had the magic pill or the magic phrase or magic something to really allow us to be able to sink into this instantaneously. But what I can share is in my own personal life, what I've been able to do or to practice or even to be willing to practice that has really allowed me to appreciate this moment. 3 simple words: pause, breathe, repeat. Now, that seems simple and maybe a little trite, but for me, it really brings this awareness to the now moment. So let's think about pause. Now, life can get crazy sometimes. Even when we're on the spiritual path, it can be crazy. There's so many things to do, things to be, places to go. Everything is coming at us. And so sometimes it's so hard to see the truth from where we're standing, especially if we're standing in the midst of expectations at work, expectations at home, expectations from everywhere. It can be hard to see the view. And so for me, just being able to pause, and that pause looks different for everyone, whatever gets you to where you're standing still and taking a moment. And for me, that's walking outside. I don't know, it's something about being in the sunshine, something about being in nature, something about that feeling of connection really kind of like allows me to pause and really focus on what's in front of me. Now, the second one, breathe. Super important. Not only from a physical standpoint, obviously, but also from this kind of deeper understanding. So when I think about breathing, I think about bringing into my awareness all the things that I know to be true. Almost like you're taking in a deep breath of oxygen that gives that life, gives that animation, gives that clarity to your mind and your body. So bringing in all those things that I know to be true, regardless of the view from where I'm standing. If that view is one of challenge, or if that view is one of amazement, bringing in all those things, breathing in all those things that I know to be true. And so in religious science, in this faith and philosophy and way of life of science of mind, some of these things are this understanding of oneness, understanding that we are the individualized expressions of the one. That one power, that one presence, that one thing that gives us life, that one thing that moves one foot in front of the other, that we are a part of that thing, that we are not separate from it. And so, wow, what an amazing understanding, amazing revelation. And for those of us who've been in this teaching, this is not a new idea, but if we really allow that to sink in, to breathe that in, regardless of where we're standing, whatever challenge may be in front of us, whatever thing that maybe we feel like is kind of bogging us down, when we breathe in that awareness, man, does that shift the view. When I can get so deep in my own challenge, but then when I can breathe in, when I can pause, and when I can breathe in that awareness, the very thing that gives me life is the thing that gives everything life. It shifts my view from this kind of crazy spinning to like, wow, I am the expression of the divine here in this moment where I'm standing. Whether that's in the valley, whether that is in the mountaintop, whether that's in between somewhere in this winding path we call life. And another thing in what we believe, not only oneness, but this idea of wholeness, that every experience is everything that we experience in life. And I've talked about this before, and I'm on this wholeness kick, I think, because I think for me, it's been a long time coming for that awareness to really sink in, kind of seep into my pores. That every experience, whether it's experience that we label as good or an experience that we label as bad or challenging, that it is all part of the expression of the divine. That there's not this over here and then this other stuff over here. And so when we're able to really sink into this awareness that it is all part of the divine, it is all part of the whole, then we're able to shift our view of it, shift our relationship to it. Now, these words may be easy to say, and they're really challenging living them. But each and every day is an opportunity to practice this understanding of oneness, to practice this understanding of wholeness, and to practice this understanding that we are not separate. We're not separate from the divine. We're not separate from each other, no matter everything that may speak to the contrary in our experience and the things that we see in our world. That the truth of who we are is that we are individualized expressions of the one. That's just not me. That's just not you. It's everybody. And so when we can really digest that understanding, digest this understanding and show up to life this way, then the view, wherever we may be standing, the view is perfect. Not perfect in the sense that there's no challenges or struggles or any of that stuff, because we know that's not true, but perfect in this one moment of possibility, this one moment of expectancy, this one moment of our ability to shift our focus and then step from that space. And when we can do that, the view is limitless possibilities no matter where we're standing. And so we begin to shift from that if only thinking to the right here thinking. Now, I've had this thinking, and I'm not, some days I'm probably had this thinking today, that if only this would happen, then things would be better. If only this, then I could step into that new way of being. If only I had this, then I could show up differently. You know what I'm talking about? We've had it. I've had it. Like, if only I had the right job, then I would be happy. If only I had the right partner, then I would be happy. So when the view is perfect right where you are, and when we sink, when we pause, we breathe, and we repeat, and these principles can really sink in, then we can move from this if only thinking to right here thinking. Knowing that right here where we're standing, no matter where it is on the path, no matter where we are, that right here is right where we need to be. And knowing that tomorrow we'll be in a different place, and that will be right where we need to be. And so when we open ourselves up to live life this way, we create this expansion. We create this expansion to allow all the experiences to come into our lives and to allow them to be just as they are, without judgment, without trying to make them something they aren't, but just being able to breathe in this moment, knowing that this moment is not forever, it's right now, and knowing that the next moment brings new opportunities and new views. The next moment brings new opportunities and new views, on and on and on. So our view from here becomes fluid. It moves and shifts just as we do. And so where is your here? And what can you see? And so I was thinking about this, and I was like, I'm sure Ernest Holmes has something to say about this view, this vision, this way of looking at our lives and this moment, and this understanding of personal transformation and communal evolution and shifting and all these things that we talk about at Soul Evolution Collaborative. And I was not disappointed. So I picked up this book, and whenever I don't know, sometimes when I'm just needing that grounding, I pick up this book called This Thing Called You. For me, this is one of the most profound books that Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote. And I opened it up, and wouldn't you just know it, I opened up to a paragraph that spoke exactly to what I kind of was feeling and thinking. And so Ernest Holmes says, now, suppose that a colored glass is placed between you and the picture so that a picture appears blurred. Everything seems distorted, and yet nothing has happened to the picture. It is your business to remove the colored glass. Because the picture is there on the wall, it still may be seen. And so that's the adventure. That's the adventure of the spiritual path, this idea of the view from here. That's the adventure. It's not doing the right things to get a clearer view. It's not saying the right things, reading the right things, being the right things. But it's already knowing that it's already here. Everything that we need is already here. Everything we need for the journey, everything we need to show up to life in these new and exciting and passionate ways is already here within us. And so what becomes the adventure, the excitement, is really looking at those areas, those things that have clouded our view, those things that have colored over that truth. And when we recognize them, not having any any judgment around them, or any like, oh man, why did I do that? But instead getting really curious and like, I wonder how that got there. And then being able to step into that space of expectancy, step into that space of possibility, and removing those barriers, setting them aside, knowing that they may have served us 10 years ago, but they don't serve us right here, right now, where we're standing. And so then we can move from the space knowing that each day, each interaction, each experience is an opportunity to see things clearer and clearer. And so take a moment. We know the power of this affirmative prayer that we talk about in religious science and science of mind. And we're not asking for anything. We're not begging some God or something way off, far away, but instead, we're correcting our view. And that's what affirmative prayer does. It corrects our view. It turns our gaze that to which is true. So let's try it out now. As I sink in this moment, I pause. I breathe. Breathing in the awareness that there is one power, one presence, one thing is back of all things. Wow, isn't that amazing? This thing that steadies us, that sturdies us, that is the framework of who and what we are, that is back of all things. There's not a place, a space, a situation, circumstance, challenge, anything where this presence is not found, no matter our view, no matter where we stand, this presence is there. And so what's really amazing and super cool and like mind-blowing is that we are connected to this, that is not something outside of us, that is inside of us. It is who and what we are. And so from this space of connection, I speak a word knowing that we are able in this moment to breathe in this awareness of the truth of who we are, that no matter where we stand, that we are in the midst, that we are surrounded, that we are enveloped, that we are covered in the gooiness of this presence. And so from that space of being covered, we can step into what is ours to do, whatever direction that may be. And knowing that it is the right step along our path. And knowing that what we see in front of us is perfect. And so I'm grateful for this awareness. I'm grateful for our ability to have these conversations. I'm grateful for our ability to learn from one another, learn from our experiences, and to step greater and greater and greater into of the truth of who and what we are, individually and collectively. So I release this word into the law that only ever says yes. Give me more so I can show you more, knowing that these words are true even as they are spoken. And so it is. So this week, appreciate your view, no matter where it is.